Oh yeah, there you go. Okay.
Wait, can I try?
Let me
can I do one more thing?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is better.
We're going to talk about African elephants. I don't know what. So I might jump right to the your background as a child.
No, I was just thinking about cutting it down. All right. That looks good.
We are already recording, so on this part.
Okay.
Hit start. Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Theresa Coates Ellis.
Wait, but you're still really spread apart.
Okay.
It looks weird. You guys should get closer.
Cheers. Is that better?
So good. You know you're on TV? Maybe she'll be like, okay, you're recording. Maybe she'll be like one of those ones on the late night shows. You know, the show up.
Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Theresa Coates Ellis with Tackle Management, and I'm here today with Kathryn Coates, who is a student at Old Dominion University. And she is a student that has some career goals that in the field of science, and she has set out to do public relations on herself in order to get noticed today in her field. This semester, she's going to study abroad in Africa. And as you can see, she's always had a love for animals. And let me have her talk and tell you a little bit about what she's holding right now.
Well, this is Gizmo, newly named Gizmerita. We just realized that she was actually a female. She is an Argentinian black and white tegu. They're considered one of the most intelligent reptiles in the world, and definitely the most tamest. They're cat-like. They're potty trainable. They know their name. They're extremely intelligent. They understand simple commands. They don't usually listen, but they understand that you're talking to them. And she is a little hyper, so I'm going to put her down now.
Now, her study abroad semester, it will not be really focusing on tegus, but it does show you what a love for animals she has. If she feels such a bond with quite an unusual looking reptile, you can imagine the love she has for other types of animals like elephants. So she is going to study abroad in Kenya and Tanzania and go to Africa to do wildlife management with 18 credits. So tell us about the whole process and how you decided to go to Africa.
Well, growing up, I'd always knew that I was interested in the biological sciences. At first, I wanted to be a nurse, and I considered going into the Navy. I did a year of nursing, and I realized that my passion for animals was way stronger than my passion for going into the medical field. I was a vegetarian for 2 years at the point that I decided to change my career path, and I am now approaching 5 years as a vegetarian. So after I graduated high school, my grandparents helped me, and I worked a lot to pay for my Cert 2, helped me go to South Africa to study behavior traits of elephants in South Africa on this park. So I stayed there for a month, and I volunteered in this elephant park, and that's when I realized that I wanted to work with African wildlife. And I went on all these safaris, and I saw the giraffes and the hippos, which are a little scary, the buffalo, and just got to see the big five, which was really cool. So I knew that I wanted to go back eventually. So then I started at ODU, and I immediately looked into their abroad program because I knew I wanted to go back to Africa. And I found this extremely specific program that focuses on African wildlife management, and it's in Kenya and Tanzania. So I started that application, I got accepted, and I was put into the group that starts in Kenya, and then we do like 14 credits of schoolwork, and we learn all about management in the area and like different ways to incorporate it into the public as well and get the public involved, like local communities and tribes. And then my group moves into Tanzania, where we apply the knowledge that we learn to actual research. So then I'm going to be getting 4 research credits, and I'm going to write a thesis and a paper. So it seems like a really good career starter. It gets me like into the field, and they teach me how to do, incorporate conservation techniques and how to document and report my findings. And hopefully I can work on getting some sort of publications, which would be good when I'm looking into grad school.
So, why do you think more students decide not to study abroad? What do you think the biggest obstacle is in choosing to do that program?
Well, what I've realized is, I don't think I would really want to study abroad if I was in a different field of interest. I don't see why someone studying to be a doctor would really strive to go to Kenya or Spain or France and really study, just because they're focusing on really hard classes and trying to finish up organic chemistry and biochemistry. So I don't see why they would really necessarily look into studying abroad.
Well, studies have shown that many people would like to study abroad, but they think it's too expensive and the process is too complicated. And what I think they don't know is there's actually a lot of financial aid and programs that offer money to kids to study abroad. I think that you figured that out. You had such a passion to go to Africa that you researched it heavily. And what did you find out about the money part?
Well, at first, I was not expecting to get as much help as we did. So I figured I would be taking out lots of loans and working to pay them off. But once I actually made it a commitment, I realized a lot of resources showed up that I didn't really know would be available to me. I applied to a couple scholarships, and I got one through SFS, and then I got one through ODU, and that's helping a lot with the tuition, and then financial aid helps out a lot. So I don't really think that there's going to be as large of amount of money as we thought there was going to be.
What is SFS?
Student Field Studies.
Is that the program that is sponsoring the study abroad with Old Dominion?
SFS is the program that I'm going through. They're a conservation group. I know that they work with whales in Canada. They work all over the world. This one is specifically focused on African wildlife. And I know the field station in Tanzania, they focus mostly on wild elephants and their behavior patterns, which is where I get to do my research. And then the Kenya field station, they focus a lot on interaction between the wildlife and the community, and just how to make conservation implemented into the society without it kind of being a burden to the people. And really, the wildlife isn't really doing much for them, or raiding their crop fields. Why would they, want to really go by conservation methods? But
how many students are going to Africa?
There's 2 groups of 38. So
are they all from your university?
No, they're all over the country.
So what are some of the areas that all the students are coming from?
I saw that there was a couple from Virginia, just a couple of random states around. I don't really remember any specifically, but a good amount of states in the U.S.
I think that we had talked to, there were some Ivy League schools. Isn't there Harvard or William and Mary?
Yeah.
Some pretty good universities were going on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know these people at all? Have you been in touch with them, or how do you
Well,
how do you feel?
SFS set up a Facebook group where you can ask to join, and she gave us the link, and then she allowed all the people in the group. She added them once, just approving that it was someone from the group, and we can post questions we had, and like the person who's kind of like helping us with the application process and keeping up with us. She's on the page too, so she answers a lot of questions. So people might ask like about what kind of malaria pill is everyone getting, or who's doing the rabies shots ahead of time, or what books to get, or like what time the flights are and stuff.
Was the health care immunizations and physicals to go to Africa pretty comprehensive? Like, what kind of things did you have to? You said something about malaria pills. Like, what other kinds of precautions are you going to take to get there? What are your challenges with that kind of stuff?
Well, it's not like traveling anywhere. There's a lot of new health concerns you have to take into consideration that aren't here, and that's what's really going anywhere. But so I have to take malaria pills every day. I was prescribed like 110 pills, I think, and then I had to get my typhoid fever vaccine and then yellow fever. And the yellow fever vaccine, you can't like go in and out of the country without a card saying that you have like the proper vaccination. So that is like a really like big vaccine, I guess, for Kenya. And then we could get the rabies shots if we wanted, but it was just kind of like
an option.
Yeah, I don't think I'm really gonna come across rabies, but and then hepatitis A and B and tuberculosis.
That's a lot. That's enough to scare someone away.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of all that. But if you have the immunizations, you're pretty protected, I guess, from all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any concerns going over there at all?
Well, as a vegetarian,
I heard the bugs are bad too.
Yeah.
And a vegetarian, you have different menu.
Yeah. I feel like the only thing I'm really nervous about, like, we do have like mosquito nets and stuff we can sleep in, and then I'll have bug spray and my malaria pills. So I'm not really worried about all that because they've been doing this for a long time. They have us set up well and prepared to go in there. But I did read that a lot of vegetarians said they could get through the program, but we definitely have to bring like protein bars, protein powders, multivitamins, just because we're a little more limited than we are.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, when you're over in Africa, what are your plans on keeping track of everything that you see and do? It's going to be for 4 months, right?
3.5.
3.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And how can you use this opportunity to ensure that you can use it for your career goals?
Well, Dr. Walters, who's head of the biology department, he's basically sponsoring my research. So I'm gonna keep in touch with him, email and send him like updates of like all the research I do, and then I guess keep it all on my laptop. I'll take a lot of pictures. I got a GoPro, so I can some good footage out in the field.
And you keep a blog?
I don't know if I can keep a blog there, just because I guess I could, but I know the internet is a little limited. I'm honestly I'm not really sure how all that's gonna work, so I'm just waiting till I get there, and I'm just gonna go there expecting that I might not have a lot of access to that kind of stuff. So.
Will you get college credits for this program?
Mm-hmm. 18 credits.
And they all transfer to Old Dominion?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Great opportunity. So, just ask, since you love animals so much, I'm sure you've had some pets as a child. did you have any unusual pets other than the tegu?
Well, growing up, I always stuck with what my parents would let me have: guinea pigs, hamsters, birds, reptiles, but more like the simple iguana from like the fair kind of thing. And then when I moved out, I got my tegu and my ball python because my mom's scared of snakes, so I was never allowed to have snakes before I moved out. So I've had my ball python for almost 3 years, and then my tegu I've had for a year and a half. They're both girls. And then I fostered dogs with East Coast Canine Alliance in Virginia Beach. I foster dogs until they can find new homes. I've had 6 dogs. Overall, 3 labs and 3 beagles that were rehomed, and that was a good feeling. Even though they're not the best behaved dogs, they're still fun. So once I get back from Africa, hopefully I can get back into that, just because I like being able to help out.
Have you done any other volunteer work that might help with your resume in the future? I know you have a great zoo down there by Old Dominion.
I volunteer with the Norfolk Botanical Gardens and the Butterfly Garden. I do that in the summer, and that's just kind of, I just wanted to get involved in a biological institute in the area and maybe make some connections. When I get back, I'm going to try and get some work with the zoo. I was talking to someone who had actually gone to the same elephant park I had gone to in Nigeria, South Africa, and he's a keeper aid kind of thing for the elephants. So he just kind of like, they can't have any direct contact with the elephants anymore, just due to like injuries and stuff, because there's new laws with contact in captivity now. And so he kind of just educates people that come by. And we were talking when I was there for conservation biology class doing research on the elephants. He was answering a lot of my questions. And we talked enough to realize he had learned a lot of it from the elephant park I was on too. So that was kind of cool. I got his name and email. So when I get back, hopefully I can get involved with the elephant exhibit and just get to know more people.
So you're a junior this year at Old Dominion, and then you are going to finish up in a year and graduate. What are your plans after your undergrad? What's next for you?
I'm debating between going straight to grad school and trying to just just keep on going with my education. But if financially I can't jump straight in, I might do 4 years of the Navy to try and, further my education. They can help that out with the GI Bill. So that way, by the time I'm 30, I can have my PhD in biology. And then eventually I want to go back for my bachelor's in mathematics. And then I just want to do research, hopefully get involved with the Front Royal Conservation Institute in Virginia, and basically just learn my whole life, stay in school, eventually become a professor and teach environmental biology, those sort of studies and classes.
Sounds like a lot of things to do, a lot of education. What was the most challenging class you've had so far?
I'm sure every biologist will say this, but organic chemistry, it's just really, really complex, and it's definitely the hardest class I've had so far.
I think that they say that organic weeds out the weak. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with me and telling me about your experience. It sounds like you're going to have a great time, and I hope you get to see some of the culture in Africa while you're there. Do you plan on doing that at all?
Yeah, we actually take about 6 credits worth of just studying the local culture and societies. We take an Intro to Swahili class, and then we take the East Africa, like basically studying their social economic system and
What is the name of the park? Do you know that you're going to be in? Is it a park or is it like just an area? It's a wildlife.
It's a park. It's a field station, I think they called it. And I know it's in Nairobi, the Kenya one. I'm not really sure what the park's name was. It's really hard to pronounce all these African words.
Do they know any English over there? Or is it all Swahili?
I know my professors will know English, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to have to be speaking Swahili or if I will be able to speak English in the tribes.
Well, it sounds like Kathryn is doing a great job trying to build up that resume for her future. I think that's really important for students today. There's a lot of competition out there. We get out of school because we've known some people that graduate college and they don't have a lot padded on their resume, so it's difficult to find a job or go the next step in their career. So I think this is important to hear that there are other options other than just internships or maybe working, some jobs you can do with study abroad. It sounds like every college has that program. So, check it out and do some volunteer work as well. It's helpful. So thanks a lot, Kathryn, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And I don't know where your Kegu is, but hopefully it's not in my purse or anything. Thank you.